The Atharvaveda, Kanda 20, Hymn 10, 2 verses. These songs of ours, exceeding sweet, these hymns of praise, ascend to thee, like ever-conquering chariots that display their strength, gain wealth, and give unfailing aid. The Brigus are like suns, like Kandas, and have gained all that their thoughts were bent to win. The living men of Priyamada's race have sung exalting Indra with their lauds. And that's suns with a U. And so the agents of ultimate divinity, when they have been ordained to do something, they are not limited in the sense of fulfilling it. Hymn 20, 11 verses. Fort, render, Lord of wealth, dispelling foemen, Indra with lightnings hath o'ercome the Dasa, impelled by prayer and waxen great in body. He hath filled earth and heaven, the bounteous giver. I stimulate this zeal, the strong, the hero, decking my song of praise for thee immortal. O Indra, thou art equally the leader of heavenly hosts and human generations. Leading his band, Indra encompassed Vritra. Weak grew the wily leader enchanters. He who burns fierce in forests slaughtered Vyamsa and made the milk kine of nights apparent. Indra, light winner, day's creator, conquered, as guardian, hostile bands with those who loved him. For man, the day's bright ensign, he illumined and found the light for his great joy and gladness. Forward the fiercely falling blows pressed Indra, hero-like, doing many hero exploits. Those holy songs he taught the bard who praised him, and widely spread these dawn's resplendent color. They laud the mighty acts of him the mighty, the many glorious deeds performed by Indra, he in his strength with all-surpassing prowess. Through wondrous arts crushed the malignant Dasyus. Lord of the brave, Indra, who rules the people, gave freedom to the gods by might and battle. Wise singers glorify with chanted praises these his achievements. In Vivasvat's dwelling, excellent conqueror, the victory giver, the winner of light and godlike waters, he who hath won this broad earth and this heaven, in Indra they rejoice, who love devotions. He gained possession of the sun and horses, Indra obtained the cow who feedeth many. Treasure of gold he won, he smote the Dasyus, and gave protection to the race of Aryas. He took the plants and days for his possession. He gained the forest trees and air's mid-region. Lala he cleft and chased away opponents. Thus he was tamer of the overweening. Call we on Magavan, auspicious Indra, the best hero in the fight, where spoil is gathered, the strong who listens, who gives aid in battles, who slays the Vitras, wins and gathers treasure. And ultimate divinity gives even those things that people consider to be gods their powers. And as creation progresses, God is known in more and more terms. until God remains unchanging. Hymn 20:12. 7 verses. Prayers have been offered up through love of glory. Vasistha. Honor Indra in the battle. He who with might extends through all existence hears words which I, his faithful servant, utter. A cry was raised which reached the gods, shining ones. O Indra, a cry to them to send us strength in combat. None among men knows his own life's duration. Bear us in safety over these our troubles, the bays, the booty-seeking car. I harness my prayers, have reached him who accepts them gladly. Indra, when he had slain resistless Vritras, forced with his might the two world halves asunder, like barren cows moreover, swelled the waters. The singers sought thy holy right, O Indra. Come unto us as with his team whose value thou, through our solemn hymns, bestow booty, so we may these gladdening draughts rejoice thee, Indra, the mighty, very bounteous to the singer. Alone among the gods, like fallen angels. Thou pitiest mortals, O hero, make thee glad at this libation. Thus the Vasishtas glorify with praises Indra, the mighty one whose arm wields thunder. Praised may he guard our wealth, and kind and heroes, ye gods preserve us evermore with blessings. Impetuous, thunderer, strong, quelling the mighty, king potent, Vritra slayer, soma drinker, may he come hither with his yoked bay horses. May Indra gladden him at noon libation. And let us ever have the fresh experience of each watch of the ritual. It's the early afternoon time while I recorded this. Hymn 20:13, 4 verses. Lords of great wealth, Brahaspata and Indra, rejoicing at this sacrifice, drink soma. Let the abundant drops sink deep within you. Vouchsafe us riches with full store of heroes. Let your swift gliding coursers bear you hitherward with their fleet pinions. Come ye forward with your arms, sit on the grass, a wide seat hath been made for you. Delight yourselves, O Meritus, in the pleasant food. Projectavedas, worthy of our praise. Will we frame with our mind this eulogy as 'twere a car, for good in his assembly is this care of ours. Let us not in thy friendship, Agne, suffer harm. With this boon on one car, Agne, approach us, are borne on many, for thy steeds are able. Bring with their dames the gods, like these, the 33, after thy godlike nature, and be joyful, says he. I assume that's a misprint, and I'm not sure what they mean by godlike, but certainly divine qualities are something that we can manifest to a degree. Hymn 20:14, 4 verses. We call on thee, O peerless one, we seeking help, possessing nothing from ourselves. Call on thee, wonderful in fight, on thee for aid and sacrifice. This youth of ours, the bold, the mighty, hath gone forth. We, therefore, we thy friends, Indra, have chosen thee, free giver, as our guardian god. Him who of old hath brought brought to us this and that blessing. Him I magnify for you, even Indra, O my friends, for help. Borne by bay steeds, the Lord of heroes, ruling men, for it is he who takes delight. The bounteous Lord bestows on us, his worshippers, hundreds of cattle and of steeds. So Indra, as Lord of Heaven, is a term representing ultimate divinity. Here we have other terms, and that doesn't necessarily mean we're, conflicting in any way between the one verse and the other. There are contradictions, but in that sense, there doesn't have to be. And if ultimate divinity is peerless, and calling on ultimate divinity will get the message out to any means that are going to be directed in our way, we can just worship ultimate divinity, right? In 2015, 6 verses. To him most liberal, lofty Lord of lofty wealth, verily powerful and wrong, I bring my hymn, whose checkless bounty, as of waters down a slope, is spread abroad for all that live, to give him strength. Now all this world for worship shall come after thee, that offers libation like descending floods. When the well-loved one seems to rest upon the hill, the thunderbolt of Indra shatter wrought of gold. To him the terrible, most worthy of high praise, like radiant dawn, bearing gifts with reverence in this rite, whose being for renown, yea, bring gifts with reverence in this rite, whose being for renown, yea, Indra power and light, have been created like bay steeds to move with speed. Thine Indra, praised by many, excellently rich, are we who, trusting in thy help, draw near to thee. Lover of praise, none else but thou receives our laud, as earth loves all her creatures. Love thou this, our hymn. Great is thy power, O Indra, we are thine, fulfill, O Bhagavan, the wish of this, thy worshipper. After thee, lofty heaven hath measured out strength to that, and to thy power this earth hath bowed itself. Thou who hast thunder for thy weapon, with thy bolt hast shattered into pieces this broad, massive cloud. Thou hast sent obstructed floods, that they may flow. Thou hast thine own forever all victorious might. And to give them strength, in verse 1 here, and in verse 1, nothing firm ourselves, is what we have printed here. And we may not experience it as such, particularly because some beings of choice may not leave us in that position, but we are loved in creation. Hymn 2016, 12 verses. Like birds who keep their watch, plashing in water, like the loud voices of a thundering rain cloud, like merry streamlets bursting from the mountain. Thus to Brihaspati our hymns have sounded, the son of Angiras meeting the cattle, as Bhaga brought in Aryaman among us. As friend of men he decks the wife and husband. As for the race, Brihaspati nerve our coursers. Brihaspati, having won them from the mountains, strewed down like barley out of winnowing baskets the vigorous wandering cows, who ate the pious desired of all, a blameless form, well colored, as the sun dews beneath the seat of order, and cast a flaming meteor down from heaven, So from the rock Brihaspati forced the cattle, and cleft the earth's skin, as it were with water. Forth from mid-air with light, he drave the darkness, as the gale blows a lily from the river. Like the wind grasping at the cloud of Vala, Brihaspati gathered to himself the cattle. Brihaspati, when he with fiery lightnings cleft through the weapon of reviling Vala, consumed him as tongues eat what teeth have compassed. He threw the prisons of the red cows open, that secret name borne by the lowing cattle within the cave, Brihaspati discovered, and drave himself, the bright kine, from the mountain, like a bird's young. After the egg's disclosure, he looked around a rock imprisoned sweetness, as one who eyes a fish in scanty water. Brihaspati cleaving through, with varied clamor, brought it forth like a bowl from out the timber. He found the light of heaven and fire, and morning, with lucid rays he forced apart the darkness. As from a joint, Brihaspati took the marrow of Vala, as he gloried in his cattle. As trees for foliage, rawed by winter, Vala mounted for the cows Brihaspati had taken. He did a deed never done, never to be equaled, whereby the sun and moon ascend alternate. Like a dark steed adorned with pearl, the fathers have decorated heaven with constellations. They set the light in day, in night the darkness. Brihaspati cleft the rock and found the cattle. Thus, homage we have offered to the cloud god who thunders out to many in succession. May this Brihaspati vouchsafe us fullness of life, with kine and horses, men and heroes. Well, god of the clouds, just like god of anything else listed, right, might be what's meant. And the earth certainly was bombarded and spent some time molten and stuff, and it may not have had the spin that it currently has, and some other things that are quite literally true can be represented here. The solar system, like other solar systems, started out more cloud-like around, and sometimes the sun formed in the middle, and then the other condensed into what didn't get absorbed into the sun, and that sort of stuff.